All right, so welcome to Adventures in Podcasting number 4, here with Tim, a.k.a. Platform, the owner of Airsoft Pawn, a person that you guys have probably seen at just about every buy-sell trade day at an outdoor field around Central Florida.
Yeah, we've been really hitting it up, haven't we?
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
Dude, so it's good to meet you. Welcome to the show. Let's get it clinky.
Thank you, yeah.
Make it a tradition or something.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you at home, we're drinking iced green tea. He's a teetotaler.
Yeah, just never been one to drinking. I drink on special occasions, and I like Goldschlager.
Hey,
Goldschlager.
I've never actually had Goldschlager. I know what it is.
Yeah, it's acquired taste. It really is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Does it taste like gold? Does it have like a metal?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, the gold flakes in it, you can't even really taste. I don't know if you've ever had gold encrusted something at restaurants.
Yeah, I had a gold leaf on something.
Yeah, it doesn't really have too much of a flavor. It really doesn't.
Feels weird eating it too.
Yeah.
Feels like something the Egyptians used to do, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I compared it to like an overcooked, maybe a Plinko breading or something like that. Or I've seen people do maybe like an oatmeal type breading or something, maybe, something fancy. But not for me. I don't get. My wife always teases me. She says I'm a plain guy, so
there's nothing wrong with that. That's cheap.
Yeah. I mean, whenever I have my burgers, I just like lettuce, tomato, and ketchup. That's
still a bit more than some of the plain people. Like when I was a kid, it was I just want a burger, I just want some cheese on it, and I want a little bit of ketchup.
Yeah.
That's it. Like my sister, she would just want a plain cheeseburger, and when she would get it with cheese on it, she got all pissed off. It was like, well, you have to tell me I want a plain hamburger. Cheese indicates it's a cheeseburger.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'll get your cigar ready here.
Please.
He's having one of the nuanced triple roasts. It tastes like a mocha frappuccino. It is one of the most delicious cigars I've ever had. It's a dessert cigar.
Do you like frappuccinos?
I do.
Yeah. So I absolutely love the cappuccino blast. They have it Dunkin' Donuts. But dude, we haven't been able to get one, so we started making ours at home.
Yeah.
And my wife's got really good at it.
Hell yeah. So what I'm doing right here is I'm just toasting the edge. And then you light it like you would just a cigarette or something like that.
With that?
Yeah, with this.
Okay.
It tastes better. The butane has less of a taste. Really, you should have a wood match. Here, actually. Let me light it for you. So, okay.
I remember... go ahead.
Okay. You can't talk and light a cigar at the same time, unfortunately. There you go. That should do it. I'll keep my eye on it. And I'm having my favorite cigar, which is the Camacho Corojo.
I always remember one of my good friends. She passed away recently, but she was big into the cigars.
Hell yeah.
And her ex. Well, I think her husband. I'm not quite sure if they got a divorce, but when her husband was big into cigars. So when we all used to hang out, we went to the cigar shop. That's why I asked you about it.
I do like the cigar shops. It's expensive when you go to a cigar shop because you are paying the premium price, especially when it's a lounge. They've got the liquor there too, where the liquor is usually pretty good. They've got stuff like Four Roses bourbon, which I know you're not a bourbon guy, but it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. Well, I can appreciate. I mean, I love a good Blue Moon or a Shock Top on tap.
Okay, yeah,
same. With like a nice lemon orange or lemon wedge, orange wedge. Yeah.
Are you interested in a beer? I have a German Hefeweizen.
I drive home.
Okay.
Yeah. And see,
I'll give you one to take home. How about that?
I would like that.
It's my favorite beer. It's called Hockershore. It's probably the oldest beer company in the world. They actually over in Germany they have a beer purity law. where like your beer has to be pure. It has to have, you know, this. I know it sounds like Nazi-ish, but it's literally just for beer. But it makes it so good. So I'll send you home with one. I got some bottles last time I was in Tampa. It's so good. But so like everybody else on the show, I'm very curious about how you got into Airsoft, because I mean you obviously had to play before you opened up your own store.
And so I mean, you know, I've been playing Airsoft for almost 9 years now. I started in July of 2016. So I mean, a lot of the viewers and a lot of my friends around here know I've done a couple of other things along the way. The first thing, I mean, it's kind of ubiquitous that the first kind of thing people jump into after they get into their first year maybe are teams.
Yeah.
So, you know, me and the guys, we put together a team, and it got kind of big, and it disbanded, and we made another one and stuff like that. But how I really got into it was kind of funny, though. But
okay.
I was heartbroken over a girl. And just wanted to wall up in my room. You know how I'm sure all of us can relate.
Yeah,
and just
you're preaching to the choir here, man.
Hey, well, you know,
I think Coy was talking about that last time.
Yeah. Oh, and that goes back. Yeah, it's what they were saying. Therapy. Each one of them, because Airsoft became more. It was therapy for me in the beginning, especially because instead of boxing myself in, you know, to my man cave and playing my video games, you know, I decided to branch out. And it just so happened that my best friend Brian Daniels from Angels of Death Airsoft, shout out to those guys.
Do I have one of their
no, but we'll get you one.
Okay.
Dope ass guys. They're up in Illinois. They're kicking ass. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm from Illinois. I moved out here about 12 years ago. Yeah.
Cool.
So but yeah, so shout out to Brian. And so he started, it was, you know, he had just gotten into it. He showed me the Novrich videos.
Okay.
You know, Novrich videos. And so that's what I thought I was going to do, you know. Yeah. We sell a lot of his stuff, you know, and you can get it pretty cheap, but
it's a big name.
Yeah, it is quality stuff, I will admit. Yeah, it holds its resale value very well.
Yeah, I've got the SSX 23 here.
Oh yeah, that's nice. I don't think I've seen one of these yet.
It's nice. It's a big boy pistol.
Really reliable.
Yeah.
Then we might not see. It might not be on the used market a lot, but
no. And you can compare it to the Desert Eagle. I mean, they're fairly similar in size.
Yeah. You know. Not something I would wield because I have it. Look how big that thing is compared to my hand.
Yeah, I like it. It's comical. I need another one though. So if you see another cyber gun that's full auto like that,
I will most definitely.
Because I will buy that in a heartbeat. I want to dual wield those.
We had one
so bad.
We had one not too long ago, but it wasn't the Desert. It wasn't this variant.
Yeah, it's the cyber gun. Because I got, I don't know if you're familiar with Tap Airsoft. They printed an HPA mag adapter for this so that I could put MP5 mags in it.
Oh, okay.
But I got it wrong somehow, and it didn't fit. So I was bummed out. I had to send it back to them. But hey, guys, I still have this. If you have the mag adapter, I would love to try it out.
Yeah, they're beats the gun. But yeah, so
so your buddy was up in Illinois.
Yeah, and he was like, "We're you know, send me this video," and he's like, "Check this out," you know, because way back in the day we used to play paintball up there in Illinois, and paintball sure came a long way too. But so yeah, he sent me this video, and I was like, "Bro, we're gonna get into this," and he ended up making his own team, and you know they do events, and they're big up there supporting the airsoft community. And
what's his team name?
Angels of Death Airsoft.
That's right, you said that.
And does the YouTube thing.
I'll have to check him out.
Shout out to Bucky. Oh yeah.
Remind me after this. I'll subscribe to him.
Most definitely. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
Anywho, but I was like, it was more of a competition too thing, because I wanted to get as good and you know, when I go, because you know, when you travel back to your home state, then you want to play with your friends and stuff like that. So it was just sort of like that camaraderie, and then I ended up meeting my best friend. Shout out to Roman. I'm sure he'll watch this eventually.
Heck yeah.
He was one of my first friends that I met. We started the whole team, and he just got married, and I was his best man at his wedding. So it just comes a lot from Airsoft. That's the reason why I just love the community. I was that little kid that used to carve, you know, planks of wood into like guns and stuff like that, run around the neighborhood back when, you know.
Same here. You find a curved stick that's just about that long. I mean, how is it not a gun?
Yeah. Or swords and bows.
Or a slingshot.
So, you know, and so I already had a propensity to like this sort of thing. I didn't like the culture in paintball. I think a lot of people in Airsoft kind of agree, especially the veterans in it, that paintball just doesn't seem to have, it does at times, but it does overall. I think it just doesn't have that quite camaraderie feel of community that surrounds it, even out in the parking lot. I don't know. Okay. That's just me.
Yeah. You know, I've heard that from other people too, but I've never played paintball. My only interactions with paintballers are when, you know, we're sharing a parking lot together, just kind of talking and stuff like. But you know, being an airsoft, like we're all talking to the airsofters, and they're, you know, we're kind of segregated in that way.
Which would probably be the future, especially if Airsoft On gets to the 10th year or so, and we corner that part of the market. We might branch into used paintball gear. Just, you know,
it's not a bad idea.
There's a lot of work to do, and we appreciate all the support from the community so far. I mean, it was greatly needed. We saw a need for that sort of service, because being at the field, being able to buy and sell and trade, and if anybody's going to be heading out to Wasteland Ops, we'll be in the Market of Marion this week. We'll be in there on the 9th and the 17th. Those Saturdays. Okay. If I'm not mistaken.
That's the 10th.
The 10th and the 17th. Or the... Yeah, the 2 weeks after the 10th. I mean, the 24th, I'm sorry. Yeah, the 10th and the 24th.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, of February.
That makes sense.
And we'll be at the Market of Marion. We'll be at the Buy Sell Trade Day for Black Tiger Airsoft on the 17th.
Perfect.
And then...
and I told Outdoor Extreme Hudson about a Buy Sell Trade Day idea. And I know, have you seen that field yet?
So, yeah, we used to go down there and play a lot of Airsoft and back when Rico, I don't know if you knew the previous owners.
No, I called them like 2 years ago to see if we could play Airsoft there, but they said I had to have a group of like 20 or 30.
Yeah, that was they weren't doing Airsoft for quite a while. I forgot the reason why they suddenly they ended up getting some rentals and everything like that, and was gearing towards it. But then the gas kind of ran out of the tank for them, I guess. I don't know. It's hard. Hats off to all the event people. I don't know if you've ever tried to put on an event yet.
I'm in the process of it, but I'm already dealing with time limitations.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if you're familiar with the Batman of Spring Hill.
I am, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So he has a charity called Mass Miracles that basically funds all that he does.
I didn't know that.
I wanted to do a charity game where we have basically Batman versus Darth Vader.
Okay.
And I think I'm probably going to be aiming towards having it at Outdoor Extreme Hudson, because it's in his neck of the woods.
Awesome field, though.
It is, and it's 20 minutes away from me.
And I'll tell you, that place never floods.
Oh, really?
Yes, because and now that you know, like you all the rain, everything comes down that. It's almost a slight hill, and the fields. I mean, it gets wet.
Yeah.
But there's no big standing puddles of water. I don't know what it is about it. But they get it a little near the structures, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, because that dump. I think it's right next to that it's not the landfill. It's like, off to the side, but it's to the edge of that property. And I think that caused the elevation to kind of, I don't know, because we've been out there a couple times because we used to go out there all the time.
Okay.
I used to have a bumper sticker on my car that said Gator Paintball.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang. All right. I mean,
yeah. I've been to all. I mean, the only OG fields that a few of the veterans might remember that I hadn't been to, I think, was called Area 41 or something like that up here.
That was the other one.
Okay, I hadn't been to that one before they closed down, but I was right. When I started in July of 2016, I think that they were running their last games or something like that. And by the time I was really like, oh shit, there's a field up there, they had already closed down.
That's crazy.
And I was like, damn. And then another one is Tax City.
I've heard of Tax City. Isn't that the indoor one?
No, it was an outdoor field.
Okay.
It was over in Lakeland.
Or was that Combat City I'm thinking of? There was an indoor one.
I think that might have been Combat City.
Okay.
Over in Orlando, I think it was.
Yeah, man.
Something like that.
All these places that are gone now, man.
Yeah. There was another one over by northern Orlando, I think Winter Haven area, called Battlegrounds. It was short-lived.
I heard about that one, too.
And then props to the one that went up in Mayaca City. I think they were going by Nomad Airsoft or something like that. Christian Harris and those boys. They opened a field up there in Mayaca City. It was a really cool field too. I forget what happened, but long story short, a bunch of palmetto trees or like shrubbery, and it was really cool because like standing up you could see over them, but like squatting down it was like CQB because it was like a maze of these palmetto bushes. And it was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, really cool.
Outdoor Extreme Hudson, I was talking to the owner, and they're planning a lot of improvements. Like all those trailers that are there are going to be taken out.
Okay.
Hopefully replaced with Connex boxes, but keeping the same layout.
All right.
And maybe building up a little bit so that you have some, elevation to play with. But the owner sounds very motivated for that field, and I'm sure not much has changed since you've been there, because he said that everything there was pretty old, and some of the stuff's falling apart, like the trailers. But overall, like it reminds me so much of Outdoor Extreme Orlando that it's crazy.
Okay.
And they weren't owned by the same people, but it's got that same kind of feel. It just doesn't have those trenches and bridges and waterways.
Wow.
It has everything else, but it has a hyperball area.
I'm excited. I want to go over there to Orlando now. Yeah, I hadn't been over there.
That's where Mini Milsom 6 is being held, I think the 24th. Are you going to that?
No, I'm not a Milsom guy.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean...
Mini Milsoms aren't really Milsoms, though.
Oh, I know. But and I have done, like, North versus South, and that's, I mean, arguably a Mini Milsom. I mean, it is Mini Milsom. Yeah. Shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
The Dead End Outfitters guys. North versus South always been a staple of the year.
I've been hearing about that since I first started playing. I've never been down there. I've never been to Dead End Outfitters. Sorry. I don't get down south too much because, for work anyways, my work area is central and northern Florida. And then they have another me that takes care of South Florida. So I rarely get in there for work, and sometimes that's like the only time for these far off places where I can say, okay, well, I'm going to take a vacation here, basically, get a hotel room and do that. But
well, you're pretty devoid of airsoft. I mean, regular established fields everywhere south past Dead End Outfitters, like Naples, is all dark.
Really?
There's nowhere to play over there in Naples that's established and like has a presence and established field or whatever like that. Not that I've known of, and I've been searching for a while, but I mean. On the West Coast, Miami Airsoft, you got Matrix Tactical. I don't know if they're still playing at Palm Bay.
I feel like I saw a post from Palm Bay.
Yeah, All Systems Go. I don't know if they're playing out of Palm Bay anymore, but
I don't know.
But then you got Raptor near Orlando. I mean, that side right there is good. And then once you get up to Tampa Bay-ish, southern Tampa Bay, it starts to pick up again. And there is there's one up in Laurel Hill. Then you got Pensacola. You got
B3 is actually closing.
Pandemic? Oh no! What?
They said on their 2-year anniversary they're going to be closing, and I'm not going to be able to make it for their 2-year anniversary.
It's a drive for me, and I'm already an hour south. I'm down there in Tampa. It's a drive. That's why I keep telling people, airsofters don't want to drive more than an hour or so.
I know.
To really play, they don't, unless it's like a bigger event that they're more devoted to. They typically on their games they don't want to play because it's a huge hassle for them.
Yeah. Plus, the only I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. Damn it. The only contrarian thing to that is people that literally have no choice other than to just drive an hour or drive an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Because I have that here where, I could drive to CIA, that's an hour. Or I could drive to Holy Cows, which was like 45 minutes. Or I could go to Wasteland Ops or Warzone, which is like an hour and a half. Or I can go to BTA, which is almost 2 hours, which I'm going to BTA this weekend.
Oh, this weekend? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Oh, so you're meeting up with Tori and those guys?
Yeah, it's my birthday this weekend, so I'm going to be... Thank you.
All right.
I'm going to be out there and playing with them. I'm going to bring my minigun, and I'm going to blast some people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Nice.
So, you were talking about your business, Airsoft Pawn. I'm curious, what led you to start the business, and would you have any advice for anybody that's looking to start an airsoft business? Because like I told you behind the scenes here, Matt Boyle was supposed to be sitting where you are today, but because of scheduling conflicts, he couldn't come out. But I wanted to have a business owner out here, and I've the field owners and whatnot, I've talked to them quite a bit in my personal time. I have not gotten to talk to you very often because you're always selling stuff.
Yeah, and to speak on behalf, because you got to know the one piece of it. Let me start off with that. Yeah, the one piece of advice I would give anybody who would want to start out an airsoft business would be persistent, and when you have the drive, just keep hitting at it. Nothing comes easy, especially in this economy. People are clenching their coin purses even tighter than so. You got to know your market. Do your market research, because we did a lot of market research before we opened ours.
Okay.
And ours is a little bit different business model than most. You don't see a lot of direct competition with us, actually. Obviously, a lot of private people actually can make a lot of money buying and selling used airsoft online and stuff like that.
I've noticed that.
It's a tough thing. We have the benefit of having myself, who went to business school for business management, and then my partner, who went to school for accounting.
Okay.
So, that is a major plus. If you don't have any business experience, I would definitely find somebody who has that experience to partner with. Of course, I ran a couple different airsoft businesses, but this is the only successful business model that's actually, because I was talking about how we lost money doing our giveaways and our apparel side. And we still do a little bit of apparel, but apparel is a really hard, saturated market. You'd have to dump lots into marketing.
That's what I want to get into. I want an apparel and patch company.
My biggest and one of my strongest suggestions is do your market research, but write a business plan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even the most seasoned business acumen people, if they've got enough money to throw at a business idea, usually you'll get some traction. Whether or not it'll keep going and whether or not that model is secure is another question, but usually you'll get something going. You'll get some traction. So, but if you want that repeat traction, I think it really comes down to that model and understanding it, and the only way to do that is to write a business plan.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of like an independent eBay for airsoft.
Yeah.
In a way, because, most of you have probably seen his tent, or he's got, you know, the 2-tiered system. He's got the rack of guns and, you know, all that other stuff. But he also has an online website. And you were just talking to me about SKUs, those little barcode things.
Yeah.
And Matt Boyle was telling me the same thing like a couple months ago, where he's like, I've been up all night looking at these things.
Yeah, it's a difficult. See, we have a different how normal businesses acquire the products that they sell are through a manufacturer. So it's more of a linear path with them.
Yeah.
Manufacturing, the distribution network into the consumer at the end. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so then you know how you make your money. But ours is from consumer to consumer. It's more of a circle.
Okay.
And so when we list something or we have any product, 99% of the time it's one thing. We only have that one product to sell, like a replica or whatever like that, versus retail where you can stock, you know what I'm saying? And that's just adds its own difficulties to the already just set up networks of business that we have to deal with that are catered towards that linear progression of product versus this circular progression of product, if that makes sense.
It does. And I do like, I like what you're doing, because I do think that there's a huge market for people that just want to try different platforms, but they really don't want to spend the retail price to buy something brand new, or they're not really able to go try it out in the field. Like, I was going to buy that gigantic sniper rifle from you, which, you know, I'm glad you sold it.
Yeah,
but I also really don't have room for it up here.
Yeah,
I honestly thought I would.
It was a wall piece because, I mean, it's ungodly to carry around an M22. I mean, maybe not for you, but definitely for me. The thing weighs probably half of my whole body mass. But yeah, I mean, that's the reason why it really I mean, Hop Up was great when it first came out.
That's where I got my Papa Shot.
You can, but it's like digging for a needle in a haystack to really find.
I got that for $100. Perfect.
That's not bad.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah. But see, and this is the first thing I always tell people when they come up to the shop, many people know this, is that the reason why we've been so successful is because in our market research, we asked, one of our questions was, how much do you expect to save when you buy used airsoft equipment like that? And the majority of people said 25%. So that's what we went with.
That's low to what I would think. I was going to say 30.
In best used condition, meaning you could get it brand new in the box. Maybe it was taken out and shot a couple times in the backyard and put back in the box. You know what I mean? In that best used condition, you can get 75% of retail. Say if it was $100 retail, you're gonna, $75 is reasonable, especially if it's right there. The logistics of it, we carry a lot of that cost with us. We don't put that back towards our customers on our price. There are things that maybe, and that is the trick too, because we're not stagnant like Walmart, which a lot of that gives us the ability to be able to negotiate. So you can come in and talk me down on price, and when you're selling me things,
I've seen you do that on numerous occasions. I saw this one guy come up to you at the end of the PFC Jamie Riley game and ask you about one of those magazines with the ripcord on it.
Oh yeah.
He ended up just giving it to the guy.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that's the benefit and bane a little bit of how this business model works, is that whenever I buy out somebody's whole collection, say I buy out, all of their plate carriers, their guns and everything like that, and when you piece it out, when you try to get that margin, you can make a lot more money. Say, take for instance, I had this deal out in St. Petersburg, and it had the JCS Elias rocket launcher that I had recently sold. Some people might remember that on the website. And so that along came with like 7-8 other guns. Okay. And so once you can appreciate or appraise, that rocket launcher. I spent $700 on the deal. That rocket launcher was valued at $350, and that's what it went for.
Okay.
And so, and it's discontinued from 2012. Shot foam rockets.
Sounds awesome.
CO2, you could screw in a CO2 canister, and it was awesome. There's a video on it. I'll show you. Man. Yeah, it was badass.
Yeah, I
went to a guy
that.
in Illinois. Shout out to that guy.
Oh, good for you. Bring it back to Florida.
So I know, right? Right in my own backyard, right? I was like, oh, dude, and you never see these online. I probably will never see this again.
I've never seen one.
Yeah.
Shoots foam.
Well, I mean, it was meant
rocket.
I think it was a paintball rocket launcher, so it was meant to do something with paintballs, I would suppose.
And it was retrofitted?
No, it was just you could fit these specific size rockets, and I mean how it works is that it didn't matter the projectile you were, as long as it fit in the barrel and made a seal, then it could fire. You know what I mean? Because that's essentially how they all work. Anywho, but
that's awesome. You are a lucky bastard, dude.
Yeah, and so that one of those guns that I talked about on that deal is the Echo 1 GAT that's still up on the website.
Okay.
So, and you can imagine that those margins fluctuate based on how much that deal has made, where that deal is. So in the end, I could just if I'd have sold that flash mag, which used mags in that capacity, we're talking a few dollars, right?
Yeah.
At max. If I didn't want to, in best used condition. So had I tried to sell it, I could have got maybe $1 out of it. But to build that, those margins are low. You know what I mean? I got it for pennies, so it's like you don't need that, and you don't need that sort of penny pushing ideals in what I'm doing, because I can come back in a couple of days, because everybody, and that's the beautiful thing right now is that when you come to sell me something, I'm gonna say we're gonna sell it at 75% of retail in the best used condition. So that means we're gonna talk around 50%, because I need to make my 20% to buy the next schmuck stuff, and the 5% gets lost in all the other stuff. So I might, if it's $100, I might sell it for 75 in the best used condition. That means I might offer you 45 or 50.
Right.
But I certainly am not going to go higher than that. So the lower the retail value of something is, that means there's not a lot more wiggle room more expensive there is.
Yeah.
But in the used market, it's been my experience that anything over $300 is a hard sell.
I could see that, because a lot of airsoft guns,
yeah,
they're not that expensive. There's some of those brand new H&K. I forget what it is, but it's gorgeous. Yeah. I saw another one. Linder has one, and oh damn it, that's right. I had a Cuban cigar I was going to smoke. Sorry, I'll do that next time. This guy gave me a Cuban cigar. He has that other H&K.
Oh, okay.
Thanks again, buddy. I'll do it on the next one. I'm aging it now. But so I was curious about why you started Airsoft Pawn.
It was just out of necessity. When the apparel business really hard, we weren't. Had we stuck with it, we could have, over a couple of years, pushed into profit. Mm-hmm. And we could have. It just wasn't feeling it. It was a lot of work, wholesaling patches. Shout out to G2 Tactical. I love those guys. But it's just a lot of work. And in the end, I thought that our investments, and because me and Josh also did the apparel business, and we thought that our investments could go further by doing, and it's a real service to the community, getting those closet guns back out onto the field.
Yes.
We would have never, that JCS Elias rocket launcher would have probably still been sitting on, some dude's shelf.
Yep.
Because I didn't know quite what I was looking at until I had got it.
I've got a couple of those that are just kind of sitting here, not doing anything. I'll be doing something with them eventually. I might contact you about that.
And that's the service that we bring. We won't ever. It'll take us many years to get because and you can imagine the complexities that we can't just buy new product when we're low.
Right.
In the same sense that a retailer just, can have that quick, and process that we have to find deals, bring people in. It's a two-headed sword of buying and selling. And that offers a whole bunch of other logistical problems that, over time we work out, but our clients are just amazing. Sometimes we get bogged down, we're very cash flow dependent. So when we buy a bunch of stuff, then we have a bunch of inventory.
Right.
We kind of have to wait to that next weekend, because we still do a lot of our sales local. We're still about like 70% local, and we're going to be opening up one in California very soon.
Wow, that's cool.
Yep.
So now you're going to have one on each coast.
Yeah, and it's very needed for what we're doing, because we had recently made a deal with a guy in Hawaii and bought his whole collection, very reasonable price, but the shipping, it kind of killed that margin a little bit.
Yeah,
like that. And
I could see that.
But if we had one dude that was over there in California, then we're building relations, and he'll start off selling replicas. It gives us something, and you can still buy it on the website and purchase it here in Florida. It just won't be here in Florida, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like that idea, the expansion of it.
Well, it was needed because, it was either that or I would have to get an expanded storage area for the warehouse, because I'm already at capacity.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and we've got like 200. I don't have a very big place. I'd say, 10 by 10, but, it fills up quick, especially when you have to have the infrastructure too, the tents, the tables, the racks, the display items, and everything like that. All that stuff accumulates in space too, and it just, but as you grow, we'll end up getting another place. We don't think we'll end up brick and mortar. It'll be more of like a warehouse type area that doesn't have walk-in, purchasing, that we then still go out to the flea markets. And I think, this will be our first weekend in Market of Marion, but I think it's going to be a very nice spot, because not only do we have all the great people at Wasteland Ops, and we'll be able to offer discounts to those people who have those wristbands.
Yeah.
So 10% off of anybody who comes in this weekend with an Wasteland Ops wristband.
Okay.
In the Market of Marion. But we also have that foot traffic. So while the normal patronage of the flea market probably won't be too interested in the replicas per se, the pouches and the vests and the camo, they go along with a lot of other sports such as hunting and target shooting and all sorts of other. Yeah.
Plus, like I talked to Taylor on the last one, there's a lot of preppers.
Yeah.
They see some of that stuff like, oh my God, really?
Exactly. And they might want it for the wall that's more safe,
Or something just for training purposes in the backyard. Just to run drills with something, even if they're not pulling the trigger, just holding something, clearing corners.
Yeah.
I do that with this when I get all antsy. I'm waiting for something. I did that when I was waiting for you. I hit the bag and then...
I think, don't they, when kids are training to do competition shooting and stuff like that, don't they use gas blowbacks for the kids?
I would imagine they would.
I've seen kids, and they are perfectly capable of shooting real firearms.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I thought I saw videos of competition training. Anywho, but
I don't know. I'd imagine they would. That's what I would do. It's way safer and cheaper.
Yeah.
Because you're just trying to get them to line up the sights.
Yeah. And, dude, kids, they're both hilarious and, like, the most frustrating. Sometimes my daughter, it comes from that curiosity about the world, and we all can relate.
Yeah.
That's how we begin to understand things, is by our curious nature. But, in which, in the end, when you're watching kids, it can be the funniest thing, or it can be the most frustrating thing sometimes.
I don't have kids. My only experience with them is at Airsoft. So if I don't like them, I don't have to, or I can just shoot them.
So you don't have any, how did you get into Airsoft?
Well, it's a bit of a sad story, but it's got a happy ending to it, obviously. Cause
okay.
I'm here sitting with you on a Wednesday, smoking cigars and talking about airsoft.
Right.
But my whole life, I basically spent every weekend with my dad. Even after I was in college, like there's just a couple years where we didn't have our weekend outing, which we always called an ooting.
All right.
Because it's fun to say oot instead of out, And so we would go out, we would go to breakfast, and then we would go play golf or go to a museum or something like that. But Memorial Day 2020, my dad died.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thanks. It was definitely the worst day of my life, and the moment I learned about death, that's when I was afraid for my dad to die. Luckily, it took like 30-something years for that to happen, but yeah, I was basically, like you were talking about, just moping around. I was caught up in my house. I had my pool, and I tried to find solace in women for a long time. Like, God, 2020, I ran through a ton of women on Facebook dating, and it's not good. It wasn't a nice way to treat them, and I'm not going to do that again. But I was sitting there watching YouTube. I was watching like a donut operator or something, and then the Swamp Sniper popped up, and it was one of the zombie ones, and it was. Oh God, it was so great, because I remember I was literally crying right before it popped on, because like you get into your head sometimes when you're all alone like that. And it popped up, and I remember I was just laughing, like, what? This guy running around shooting people, like, whoa, what is that he's shooting them with? Found out that it was airsoft, and it was like, this community is amazing. But the moment that got me to actually try airsoft was, I forget which episode it was, but it wasn't even the Swamp Sniper. It was some guy named Skittles.
Oh, okay.
He came back with some stuff kind of like you do, but in the game, where he's like, yeah, I've got these healing potions. These are both 2 caps. This one's 3 caps. He's like, why is that one 3 caps? Like, well, I had to eat a worm to get it, so I'm charging an extra cap. And like right then, that's when my heart grew like 3 times. I was like, oh my God, these are my people. So then I went and I bought my HK VP9, shot it in the backyard.
Yeah.
And
nice.
Man, it's just been history ever since. I got that, then I got the Swamp Sniper rifle up there to pay homage to him. I thank him for saving my life. And then I got this MP5 here, and then it literally just
snowballed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I did like you were doing. People would get out of airsoft, and I would just buy what they had, especially if they needed the money. Like I bought this AA-12 from a guy who's a cop now, but he was whatever is before you're a cop, on probationary period or whatever. So he needed money, so I bought that from him, and it's like it just kept snowballing until it got to the point where now I have a podcast and I'm sitting here talking to an airsoft business owner, and we're just chilling. But
yeah, I saw. I mean, it really started when I had saw a specific Craigslist post for a Trident. What's the one that does the MK Trident?
Oh.
Crytek.
Yeah, thank you.
Crytek.
The one I don't own.
Yeah, Beastie Gun, right? Beastie Gun. Guy was getting out of airsoft, was a Milsim dude, was a LMGer in the Milsim, and had gotten old. His kids got out of it. Anywho, whole kit and caboodle, all of his stuff, $500.
Okay.
And I was like, bro, I could get that gun alone, $450 out of that.
Yep.
And many people know who I, the things that I do online because I'm so big in Discord. And so,
I do want to talk about that, by the way. Yeah,
it's just been starting the Obsidian Order community and everything that went along with that was just really awesome. It was a 2-year span. It's still going, but in that, I made a lot of connections throughout, and learned a little bit what's going on outside of Florida and the airsoft community. Yeah,
I love going on that Discord and seeing that. Like, I don't know, the camera can't probably see it, but like there's a ton of patches over here that I got all from the Obsidian Discord, and just about all the teams on there, I don't know. Like, what's the one with the egg? Is that the deviled egg? Is there something?
Yeah, no, I mean, back whenever the Obsidian Order was doing, what's the word I'm looking for? A subscription service to the server, you could get your own patch made. All you had to do was submit a design if you had an active subscription to the server, and it was something like $10 a month or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So all you had to do was submit the design, and eventually, within a time period, it would end up on the website for sale. And that was one of that one, and this one are just they're not associated with teams. They were just associated with a person who had a subscription that was, you know, the patch that they ordered. That was the symbol made by, because the Obsidian Order had actually started as a team as well.
Oh, okay.
And so we quickly, after we started the server, was like, oh shit, you know, people want to talk about Airsoft again, because at the time there was no national. Now there's a bigger one than us, Airsoft Nerds.
Oh.
And most definitely props to them. It wasn't something that we wanted to continue doing after we had reached a certain point. And the way we had it is that we run by, and we still do, they still do run it by community. So it is the communal effort of a bunch of people. And when you have something like Airsoft that is not the most prioritized thing in people's lives.
Yeah.
I can speak for myself. Family comes first for me, so I mean...
Yeah, you and Taylor both. Taylor sends his regards, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
He wanted to be here, but he has his daughter today.
Yeah.
So, like you, he's obsessed with his daughter. For whatever reason. I mean, it's like they came from you or something.
Bro, it's... and then... You get that bond because it's an investment too.
Yeah.
Watching them grow and learn, it's a kind of a reflection of you. So I mean, and growing up in a daycare, I kind of enjoy that sort of thing. It brings back memories for me. And then I have a wonderful wife that allows me to be a stay-at-home dad and then pursue my interest in business. When it was about 6 months of having to do it in our personal finances and stuff like that before we could establish an LLC. To get a bank account for a business, you actually have to file your LLC first. Most people don't know that. They think they could go get a business. You can go get a personal account and call it a business account.
Right.
But you can't actually have a business account with the bank until you have a registered business.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get a bank account if you're not a person yet.
Yeah. So we had to, get enough money and get enough. And another thing, too, once you have your... Say you want to do anything. You want to start an event company. We need everybody. We need people to do events. We need people to do what I'm doing. We need retailers. We need field owners. We need everybody. We need more people to join the sport. We need, and then that's and so write your business plan. Do your market research, but then allow it time. Don't just throw a lot of money at it. A lot of these guys, they tested their market. They went out in there and they put their, ideas to fruition before they moved into actually putting large amounts of money into it and really building it into a business. Because it might look good and you might think you have something good, but don't throw a bunch of money at it, until you, actually get going with it.
That's exactly what I'm doing here. That's why all this is mobile.
Exactly.
I can literally pick all of this up and run it on the batteries.
Yeah.
The only hard part would be bringing the humidor. But I have travel humidors.
Okay.
But this thing is definitely coming with me. I love this ashtray. That makes me so happy.
It's almost vintage.
It is vintage.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I got it at an antique shop for $50.
That's dope.
I'm so happy with it. I also got the alien head.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's made by a local artist in Sarasota. I think I'm going to call him Marvin or something. But he's for the conspiracy theory talks.
You were talking about aliens on one of your own podcasts. So before I graduated, when in business school, one of my biggest loves since high school has been biology.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, I mean,
I did biological research at NASA for 2 summers.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
blast.
So, well, then, are you familiar with the Drake equation?
No.
So, I mean, it's a mathematical formula that, I mean, you start off with the new understandings of how space works. Are it's a Newtonian understanding was taught to us in school, that gravity is the attraction of forces that have mass, and it's the physical characteristics of mass that pulls these things together. Now we know that gravity is an expression or manifestation of the disruption of space-time.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
So if you can imagine space as like a fabric stretched out on a hula hoop, okay, and then we drop a heavy metal ball and we see that the fabric sinks, okay, and that action of mass in the fabric of space-time is gravity.
Interesting.
Okay, so and this works in the principle of large objects down to us. This explains it's somewhat Newton was right in a way, a mass interacting with that, but it wasn't quite there. So there's no physical attraction. Gravity is the curvature of space-time due to mass being in present space. Okay, and then so our understanding of space is that it can, I know it's kind of counterintuitive, and a lot of this is in physics and stuff. It doesn't seem, once you get to scale of big things and small things, the understanding of how physical things interact, which what we call physics, of how physical things interact, is changed. It's not quite the same or counterintuitive to what we might think, okay? And especially like space can essentially fold out of itself and collapse in on itself. The best way I've learned, I've heard how to express this, if you take a ruler that has an inch, and an inch on a ruler, then you can put a bunch of little marks in between that inch, okay, and then we can take from the first mark to the second mark, and we can zoom in, right, and then we scale that to the inch, and then we can keep putting things in, right. So there is no all measurement is based on something, okay, is based on the relationship of something else, like a foot. Every sort of measurement needs a thing that it's going against. Even time, what we understand as time, is the motion of these planets in orbit, and how it affects our environment is how we understand time, right? You remove those things, you can't tell time passing. Yeah, the sun and the moon didn't revolve around us. We wouldn't know. Whenever you're trying to measure space, counterintuitive thing here of how you can see how that sort of thing, it takes, and again, I don't quite understand it, and the people at the forefront of the understanding, here's what they tell me, and this is what I think is the most reasonable assessment of it, is that, like I was saying, is that space has this ability too. So back to the Drake equation. If we put that at the front, there's this allotted amount of space that can collapse in on itself and expand out of itself. If that is the case, what is the probability of intelligent life existing within that parameters? And no matter what you put in that to have intelligent life, it will always happen more than once. There's enough space. Yeah. It'll happen, right? Now, whether intelligent life exists now, like, it's taken us 4 billion years to go from protoplanet to intelligent life on said planet. Yeah. Okay? Now, given that a lot of stuff, you've heard about the Goldilocks zone and stuff like that, it's actually kind of more prevalent out in the universe than you'd think. So that's what I've heard. Okay, yeah. And the conditions of it might not be what we could see just from telescopes, because the only thing we can see are things that are backlit in the universe. Yeah. Right? So we don't know if anything's there until it's backlit. And so there might be lots of things we don't quite understand about the way these things interact, but we do know that it can happen more than we actually thought.
Yeah.
Right?
Plus, the universe is constantly expanding.
True, yes. And now, given the fact that it's taken 4 billion years to go from protoplanet to intelligent life on our planet, given that that's like a yardstick, right? If one, you know what I'm saying, we might have missed it in time, or we might not be, and another thing too, like, when we look up at the stars, and I know you've been taught this before, that, you know, when we look at something very far away, we see it in the past.
Yeah, we're looking at dead planets.
So, and again, a lot of this is counterintuitive, that we think that these things can happen simultaneously in the universe, and time is a perspective based on moving objects in that said universe. So, it's a very complex understanding, you know what I mean? I don't presume to know it all, but I do, but in the end, intelligent life can, and more than the most likely has, either started or getting there. Intelligent life could exist on this planet, or in this universe. Now think about this though too. We're an intelligent race, and we want to go to another planet. What are we doing? What's our drive to go to other planets? To go there and to take that planet over for ourselves.
Yep.
Damned be the inhabitants, right? And we need it because that's a survival. Now, whether that, and we, just like everybody else, are kind of bound by our technology and the way, because, okay, and another thing, aliens that came here, unless they were born and evolved on a planet so damn similar to Earth, it's incredible. Just even a slight gravitational change in the way they evolved, they'll evolve differently. So when we go to other planets, we need a spacesuit. When aliens come to Earth, they need spacesuits.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't be able, they didn't evolve on our planet of the right temperature, and they'll need some way, they'll be uncomfortable of changing our environment to suit theirs in some way.
Yeah.
That's what I hated about most alien movies, to tell you the truth, is that is going to happen.
They did that in, that's one of the few things they got right in Independence Day.
Yes, yeah.
Is that they had that mechanical
They never showed
exoskeleton.
that. Yeah.
You know, and that's honestly what's happened. The smartest people I talked to at NASA, whenever I brought up aliens, and like I was smiling, they got so serious. So serious.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it, because I think they were talking about that equation where they're like, mathematically, life, just like us, has to exist out in the universe. But it has to be really, really far away because they haven't made themselves known yet. Or they're already here and they're observing, yada, yada, yada.
Let me put this another way, too. So there's this idea in science called the Great Filter. Okay? And if you can imagine what it would take to, on a series of steps, to go from microbial life to intergalactic species.
Yeah.
Okay? Right? And along the ladder here, we are at that precipice of being able to colonize other planets. And we understand the difficulties of it without going into all of the reasons why, you know, we can't exactly just go to other planets, like I was saying. And like they were saying, there's no evidence that there is. There's no direct evidence. So any civilization that has actually gotten past that step, has colonized other planets, you know, they live a life of traveling in a car, like what we would describe as traveling in a car. They're traveling across in spaceships to other planets, like right, okay, like we see in the movies. If they get to that spot, they're gonna be so well advanced that in their perspective, when they're driving across the universe in their spaceship, they're gonna see us like we would see a rock with a bunch of ants on it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Unless they wanted to pick up that rock, which there's nothing really special about this rock in all honesty, from what we can tell in the universe, there's plenty of the dirt rocks
it's
around.
It's just liquid water.
It's human arrogance to think that they would want to come here.
Like our big thing is liquid water.
Do we care about that little mound of dirt anthill as we're driving 60 down the highway?
No. And that's part of the plot to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, is that? Never saw that one.
Oh my God! Read the book instead.
I
might have a copy of it here.
Oh, I love it.
But it's the premise is basically that intergalactic corporation type people decided they're building an intergalactic highway, and Earth is in the way. So they basically make an announcement by putting up some paper flyers, or no, they put a paper flyer somewhere in their building saying that we're going to demolish Earth. And then when they make the announcement that Earth is going to be demolished, they're like, well, I don't know what you're upset about. We filed the proper paperwork. And it's like, how the hell are we going to do it? We didn't even know you were here until 5 seconds ago, and you told us you're going to destroy us.
That's awesome.
So it's just, corporate BS there.
With, Tim Allen?
No, that had...
That's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I'm thinking of it.
No, Hitchhiker's Guide had the guy that played the Hobbit. I can't remember. He was in the British office. His name escapes me. He's good, though. And then Mos Def.
Okay, yeah.
Mos Def was an alien from Beetlejuice. But the book is great. There's actually 5 books. They call it a trilogy, but there's 5 of them. But you might like it. It's got a lot of humor in it. It's got a lot of that weird kind of stuff. Like they have a ray that when you shoot someone with it, it makes them express their true feelings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you can't have somebody who's like lying to you about their feelings. You shoot someone like, I'm broken on the inside. I just want a hug.
Oh, definitely a comedy.
Yeah, it's definitely a comedy. Yeah. It's a British comedy, so it's really dry.
Oh, okay.
But it's really good.
I'll have to check it out.
I recommend it. The movie's great, but the books, as always, are always better. So I guess we're getting into conspiracy theory talks.
Well, I mean, it's just the most it's not whether or not they have landed here, that is a conspiracy. Yeah. And from my understanding, if they have, it is an immense undertaking to suggest that something of that caliber could be hidden. We think of the federal government as being so inept to do pretty much anything.
They really are.
But then when we need them to be the most secretive and the most badass about anything, this is where we pick them to be good at.
It's convenient.
Very convenient. So I mean, I don't personally.
Unless the aliens are the politicians.
Personally, the immense. So, in order to travel space, you're going to have to either go really, 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 really fast, like beyond our capabilities even now, we're going to have to go really, really fast. Or we're going to have to live very long, or find some way to live and reproduce on the spaceship. So there's there's two options there. Go really, really fast, or learn how to live longer and reproduce. Yeah. And so, because... I don't know if you knew this, but human babies need Earth's gravity to be able to develop properly. You take a pregnant woman into space, their embryo will not develop into a human up there. You need gravity. If she's going to be up there and get pregnant and develop into a human, she's going to have artificial gravity the whole time. Because once a baby develops to a certain point, it begins to sag down inside the mom. This happens with basically every mammal. Yeah. Eggs work this way. Everything. You need artificial gravity for life to happen because that's how life works here. And you need and then 90% of the time, you need the conditions into which they evolved from to a specific point.
Yeah, and if you're going on an intergenerational journey, you're going to want gravity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
we'll end up evolving in some way.
And you know that, space astronauts that just go up there for a couple of months come down with problems, physical problems, and that's the reason why, is because our bodies, we need these certain conditions, that is, Earth. to be able to actually just live, right?
Yeah, I hear
And
that they lose bone density.
Yeah.
As well as muscle mass and stuff like that.
If we wanted to actually live in any comfortable state of going through the galaxy, we're going to have to learn how to imitate Earth and carry Earth with us like that throughout the galaxy.
It's going to be something spinning like in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Which can be done. I mean, we're not quite there yet.
No.
But basically, you'd have to have these pregnant women sitting on this gyroscope that's spinning the whole time. I mean,
what a crazy that is an idea for a medieval birthing chamber. They literally just had her like strapped on there to just spin her around fast till the baby flew out. And it had like a basketball hoop sitting there to catch the baby. It's like, holy crap. All right. I'm surprised we made it through the Middle Ages, honestly. Maybe aliens do exist and they found a way to help us through it, you know?
Insects get around the gravity problem too. A lot of the way they reproduce don't always have to have gravity because just the weight of them and the way they cocoon and stuff like that. Now some do. The more complex life tends to be more needed on the environment.
Yeah.
So single cellular organisms, as you can imagine, bacteria and viruses are even known to cross the voidness of space and then land somewhere else and appropriate them. It's not it's called, there's a specific term for it. A lot of these terms are lost on me right now.
It's something with seeding.
Yeah. Terrestrial seeding or something like that. Yeah.
It's the plot of a lot of horror movies like Slither.
True. Or The Thing.
The Thing, yes.
Yes. Which is reasonably scientifically possible. Or plausible. It really is.
Yeah, it's creepy, but you know, I don't know about you, but I know how to make a flamethrower.
Yeah.
So,
but they do get one. But all the conspiracy theorists do get one thing right, bro, and that was the one thing I said. If aliens do come here, an intelligent race comes here, they're looking for one thing. They're looking to take what we have here because that's exactly what we would do if we were them.
Yep.
We would see them as, oh shit, we need that planet, yo.
That's what Stephen Hawking said. You know.
Well, yeah.
He got some things wrong, and who knows if he actually went to Epstein Island and stuff like that. But
I don't know if you're a Star Trek fan, but
yeah.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if you know how the lore ends. Why? So if you think about it in the Star Trek universe,
I stopped after TNG.
Okay. Well, this is the plot of the TNG actually. So, well, I don't know if it carries on a little bit, but anywho, how they explain why, if you've ever noticed in Star Trek, is that everybody looks the same. They're all bipedal humanoids with the same symmetry and everything like that. They're just different in their cranial. So they explained that by there's this long story short, this was other subspecies of a different species that seeded all of us into existence across the universe. That's actually Star Trek
see
lore.
that. You know, over the next couple thousand years, we may even revert back to looking like rats again. You know, we were rats and monkeys, basically.
It'll all depend on environmental changes. Yeah. So the reason why we have evolved into what we are is because of the conditions on planet Earth and what we, so I mean, and I don't know if you've heard, but over time we've gotten less body hair, right? Yeah. So in 1,000 years of human evolution, they are going to be a lot less hairy. I know. Men will not develop nipples. I don't know if you had wisdom teeth, but I only had the top wisdom teeth come in.
Yeah, I have all my wisdom teeth. But,
oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, I'm a smart guy though. So.
well, it actually has. Yeah. Anywho, but these
I've got a lot of cranial capacity.
The tonsils.
Yeah, those are all going to go away.
Yeah, those will all eventually. Like my daughter, I had 2 wisdom teeth. My wife didn't have any wisdom we're already past the age of wisdom teeth. So we won't get them if we haven't had them. Right. And so we pass that on to our daughter, whom probably won't develop wisdom teeth like my. And I know, without going into a long spiel of genetics, my daughter is more predominantly taken because she's got 2 Y chromosomes. Right. One given from me, and one given from my wife. And so she's already predisposed to be more dominant towards that Y chromosome that was given towards her, because that's the expression of what her genetic information is.
Okay.
So what so she might not get wisdom teeth at all, just like my wife. She could get, at all. She could actually get all four. It actually depends a lot on more genetic factors than that. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. As people have babies, she's a lot likely to have no wisdom teeth. Like, the probability is really high that she won't have any, because my wife didn't have any. She won't have any.
Yeah, plus you only had two.
Yeah.
Plus it's a recessive gene, so I don't know enough about genetics. Though.
Yeah. There are things called alleles, recessive and dominant alleles inside the genetic structure.
I remember that.
And they have a lot to play with it. But yeah, I mean, as you can imagine, the ones that express more dominant genes, they tend to pass those dominant genes on to their offspring, and it's all a game of dice and a stack of cards, kind of in analogies. But anywho, she's a lot more likely to not have any than have any at all. That she's more predisposed to that. So as time goes by, she passes that on, and things change. So there'll be a time in human history where our species has evolved to the point where the people that come after us, long in the line after us, won't be able to reproduce with us.
Right.
And they will
just like Neanderthals and humans.
Yeah, we will evolve into a different species given enough time. So, whether we get there is a question or not, but yeah.
Have you heard about the theory that the aliens with the big heads and everything like that are time travelers? They're us?
I've actually been thinking a lot about time. So yeah, I mean, I've heard those theories, but see, I'm a big proponent on. From my understanding, that time isn't something that's real in the sense.
Right.
Okay, so in the universe, there is no such thing as cold. It's the default setting is no heat. Absolute no heat. That's the default setting. And everything is just an amount of heat it has. Okay. So the universe is just vacated of heat, which is what we would describe as cold. But it's just, so you can imagine that. And then it's...
Yeah, ours is based around how ice forms here on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
I'm sure ice forms at different temperatures. I'm not really sure.
It's all based on something. And when you remove the things that you're using to base your measurement on, measurements don't mean anything. Like, if you were to remove, if you were in a place in an empty void of space, is time passing? I mean, the only way you would know how to time with passing is literally by counting it in your head. Yeah. There's nothing to base anything on. And when you move forward, are you moving forward in an absolute, voided space? You know what I mean? Which doesn't exist. And most people think space is empty. It's not empty. It's full of radiation.
Yeah. That's what I hear.
And light. But we just can't quite see it. But yeah.
Right. These are the conversations I used to have with my dad, because he was an astronomer, rocket scientist, genius, and he would explain a lot of these things to me about collapsing stars, forming black holes, and what could possibly be on the other side of a black hole. Yeah, that was his thing was it's potentially nothing but just utter destruction.
That's our current understanding.
Yeah, because anything that goes through it appears to get destroyed on the way in. Even stars, it'll suck in stars and planets. And
most people think that black holes are much more. They're very powerful, but you have to actually get really, really, really close to them comparatively.
I know.
I mean, they don't have this pull of but then again, all of us are circling the drain of a massive black hole in the center of our galaxy. That's how gravity works. Right. Is that in the center of our galaxy, and what we understand is just, if you can imagine, all the mass that's ever been sucked into the black hole is just being compounded into a big sphere, right? And it's just, the immense gravity is just making this thing super goddamn dense, and the more dense something is, the more pull it has on that
Right.
fabric, which means it's displacing more, as you can imagine. It's
making it drain a lot
yeah,
steeper.
and we need these sorts of playbacks of more simplistic instructions of how it actually works for us to wrap our mind around the very big and the very tiny. Because I also I don't know if you know about particle physics, but superposition is a thing in it's how particles. So superposition is the more you know about how fast a particle is going, the less you know about where it's at.
Yeah.
The more you know about where it's at, the less you know about how fast it's going.
See, I've heard about the Hadron Collider and stuff like that. That's the main stuff I know about particle physics, is that when you crash them together, it's normally a bad thing. When you smash atoms, you can
we make a bunch of. The thing is,
you can make a bomb.
Well, yeah. I mean, that is nuclear fusion.
And weren't they talking about, they were talking about something with time with that Hadron Collider, that they saw that time, like you're saying, is subjective, that they could slow down time by smashing particles together.
Yeah. Look, okay, so here's the best way I've been able to understanding it is that so say if we got on a rocket ship and we started zooming off of Earth at 99% the speed of light. Okay, so we're going that same speed of light, and we got a view back out on Earth. Once Earth would get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until eventually it would just stop getting smaller, even though we're traveling millions of miles per second through the universe. And so what happens is that light that is bouncing off of something, then coming to our eyes to where we can see it, that light. Okay, so it's traveling through the universe at the speed of light.
Right.
And when we are traveling along that view at the speed of light, we end up catching up with the particles ever so slowly. You know, if we're going 99 the speed of light, that means that the reflection that we're seeing, it doesn't get any smaller.
Yeah.
So the way we see things in the universe is very different. But we travel from point A to point B going at 99% the speed of light. So we keep traveling in that same linear direction. And yeah, it's very hard to explain.
Yeah, this stuff is hard. Plus, my molars are floating. I got to pee real quick.
Oh, okay.
Do you need to pee?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Let me just hit the head real quick.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I gotta get me one of these.
One of the Hefas? Oh, one of the patch walls?
Mm-hmm.
They're nice, man. They're like $20 on Amazon. Or you could just get the felt from Joann Fabrics and put it up on the wall.
Yeah.
That's what Joe from Grey Wolf told me to do, which I'm going to do once I have like a more permanent setup here. But well, I'm loving this setup so far.
Yeah, we're gonna do a whole line of the. I'm gonna use it as a display purpose. But did I give you any one of the state layout Florida Airsoft line?
Yeah.
Yeah, the other state lines. That one's gonna be big.
I've got extras of your patches that I give out to people every once in a while.
Oh, dope. Yeah. I give them out as like when somebody makes a big purchase or multiple purchase, I give a free patch.
That's smart. That's what more companies should do that.
Yeah, they're very inexpensive really to make. So
I know. I think I use the same guy you do, patch manufacturer.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I need to reach out to him directly. I was having somebody else do my patches, but I want to do it myself now. I want to do everything myself.
Yeah.
Burn my carpet. I'm joking.
As you can tell, it's like I talk and then my cigar goes. They normally do that if you're not like constantly. Okay, that's why I remember.
Yeah, that's the one thing about cigars. You got to keep them going.
That's very nice.
But if you keep an ash on it, it keeps the ember going.
And that might be my mistake.
It could be, but also that's smoking a cigar is different than smoking a cigarette or like anything else.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, smoking a pipe apparently is so much more different. There's all this crap you have to do with the pipe and
really?
roasting the tobacco, and you have to use just a single match for each puff. Screw that. I'll take a cigar any day over any of that crap.
I haven't had a good one in a long time because, the wife really doesn't like. Some people just are. The smell of it's too much for them or something like that.
I know,
but
that's why when I have these interviews, I want to kind of comply to the guest. That way you feel comfortable. That's why we're not drinking.
Oh, yeah. Well, my wife drinks, and I'm around it all the time. I don't mind it at all. But
I'm gonna have to go to the gym after this, so I don't. if I have some whiskey or something like that,
bro,
I'm like,
yeah.
no, I'll just hit the bag. That's enough cardio. I gotta run today.
Oh man,
I gotta feel everything jiggle on me.
Dude, my daughter is a workout for me.
I can imagine. So, how old is she?
Almost 2. She'll be 2 next month on the 20th, and she's a hefty girl. That's most people. She's wearing 3T clothing.
What does that mean?
3-year-old clothing. So T means toddler.
Okay.
And so you have 1T, 2T, 3T. Well, I don't think they say 1T. I think they just do 12 month. So 12 month.
Okay.
And then they'll go to 1T. So, or 2T. So typically you'll have 12-month-old. Oh no, they do have 16 and 18 month.
Okay.
So they have 12, 16, 18 month clothing, and then it goes to 2T, 3T, 4T. I think it goes up to 6 or 7. I'm not quite sure. Another thing I'm treading new water on.
Do they have a chart where you just you put your kid up against it? It's like a height chart.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they give you a printout now of their scale. They call it. But yeah, so they'll give you a graph of where your child is based on the averages of other people like that. Okay. And they do it for head size and weight and, depending on your doctor's office, some other, but you get this printout, and she was 99th percentile for her weight and head size. For the first, I think, 2 months she was born, and now she's down, and then it slowly decreased, and now she's down to 92%. Okay. So only 8% of babies are bigger than her.
Interesting. That's how I was.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. In the top percentile.
When I was born, I was 12 pounds 9 ounces. I want to say, and then my entire life, I've been this size since I was in high school. I still have my high school clothes and shoes and stuff like that I wear sometimes.
But she went from immobile to walking 2 months.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty quick.
Because her weight, once she figured out how to crawl and move around and learn how to get up on it, because that was the benefit of her size, was once she could prop herself up or have the strength to hold up her weight, she could move around. She learned it, and her weight kind of helped her become stable and stuff like that. So yeah, she picked up walking, and she's such a smart baby. Good. It's incredible. I got super lucky.
Good for you, man.
Props to anybody who has issues with children. It's really tough, especially just having a normal, healthy baby is tough enough. But having anything wrong, colic, genetic problems, whatever it is, to add on top of it, I got super lucky. We got that baby would chug breast milk and formula doesn't care. Good. She's a little picky eater now just because we kind of spoil her, She's spoiled rotten.
Well, if I had a kid, that kid would be fairly spoiled too. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a great strict person. Yeah. I like for people to be my friends, and I like for things to be kind of nice and easy. Yeah, yeah. But I see it with my neighbor and his kid. Sometimes he has to get on him when we're at the airsoft field because he's doing something that kids do that they shouldn't be doing. Yeah. And then he gets sad about it. It's okay, well, let me step in as the nice guy because I'm not good with that. It's if you're having problems with your homework, let me know, bud. I'll help you. Pre-algebra, that's nothing.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
that's basically multiplication.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've got my phone can do that all for you. Don't worry about it.
It's something that, I mean, I waited until I was 35 to have a kid, which is late for dudes. I mean, I have 3 siblings, and they all had kids very early. My eldest niece is 19 years old. Oh yeah, she's an adult. I got an
She's
adult.
a straight up adult. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, she was born when I was like 12 or 13 or something like that.
That's crazy. I've got nieces and nephews. I have no idea how old they are. Well, I have cousin nieces and nephews. I do have one nephew. He's like 11 or 12 or something like that. But he's up in Virginia. I don't see him.
Oh, yeah. I spent. I was always the bachelor uncle. So I mean, while my other siblings couldn't always see each other because they had kids, and it was a thing. Mm-hmm. Especially for some of them. I mean, they all have multiple. I still just have one. Every one of my siblings has got like 3 or 4, and it's like, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and so I would be the bachelor uncle, and I just got to spend a lot of time. But I loved being an uncle, because you get to go and play with all the kids, and then when they start crying or got a poopy diaper, here you go, mommy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've always loved kids and being around them, and that's I know. Yeah, like you were saying, another thing about Airsoft is that, dude, I remember a couple years back. It was back when Paul was running Black Tiger Airsoft, and he pulls me aside, and he's in front of this group of birthday party.
Okay.
So birthday party, a bunch of kids and a dad, and he pulls me aside, and he's like, guys, listen to this guy. He's gonna do what I did was, it was a down pilot game. And what we needed to do was take this pilot from where we start, and 2 sides started out on either side, and we started off on the wood line in the back. And I told them all, I was like, follow me, single line, and we got to go to the detention, or the jail. It's the 4, right, with the ladder that goes up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, we got to get there, guys. So just hustle with me. We're going to run, we're going to get there, and then when we get there, I set them all up. I'm like, all right, you sit there with your gun pointed this way, and I showed them all, I set them all up. We ended up winning the game.
Hell yeah.
And a couple of them got eliminated, but they were all very happy and everything like that, and that's what, I mean.
That's what it's about.
Yeah, bro, like that. Watching them like soak people, like I don't know if you know that kill spot, bro. Like, as soon as you go into that, there's 2 rooms. The back room has the ladder going up, and so when you come in, you can't really see anything that's going on over here because it's so dark, and yeah, it's like a kill spot. So I had these kids sitting underneath the stairway, and when you go in, your eyes go up, right, because
mm-hmm.
there's typically somebody sitting up there,
right.
So as soon as you break that thing, you're not paying attention down there. You got
2 kids blasting
right?
you.
Typically, the good players will pre-fire it without even looking like underneath the stairway before they even take a peek up the stairs.
Right.
I always recommend that, but
I'll do that this weekend if I find myself there.
I'll
use all the pro tips. I get shot so much being a giant and not knowing like tactical stuff.
Yeah,
I'm trying to learn. It takes a while. I'm going to get with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's or Hernando County Sheriff's Office and see if they'll let me do some training with them and maybe film it.
Okay, yeah.
And see if it actually helps my Airsoft game.
It
probably won't, because I'm not going to remember any of it when I'm out there just running around.
There are what I would say, in my personal opinion, because even though I didn't join the military, my father was a decorated captain in the mm-hmm. Army, and my father before him, or his father before him. So I've got military in my family and grew
mm-hmm.
up. So, and that's why I learned a lot of what I do. But taking it out, besides some of the concepts of like bounding, like whenever somebody fires a volley, you move up, I start firing, you move up, right. Bounding. Some of the strategic principles of like engagement
mm-hmm.
Can be used, but not more than half of the stuff isn't applicable from training, from real steel training to airsoft. It just really isn't, because you're not going to take the liberties you would, or be as, even down to the stance, the way you hold. There are no recoil.
Yeah.
And you start even just, and you often would, and we both know, in a combat situation, it's all about muscle memory a lot of time, and it's all about instinct. And when you are training to be that, I think it can be somewhat difficult for people, because they're learning different ways of holding it, unless they're utilizing, you know what I mean? Unless they're actually holding their gun like they would a real steel.
Yeah, because I see a lot of kids, like when they're shooting over a barrier, they've got it like this.
That doesn't technically break the rules.
I know, they're still looking down their barrel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's applicable, but
and what I do a lot is what I call side shouldering it. So rest it against the side of your shoulder. You would never do that with a real firearm.
No, wait a minute. Oh, I thought the optic was on.
And when you're playing airsoft, you're not thinking about that, right?
You want to pull it in nice and tight. And like usually when I'm shooting, I have to lean into it. Yeah, because you get pushed back a little bit. But with airsoft, I mean, I can just.
Oh yeah, exactly. And building those sorts of, it could be. I could see how that could train one people when they're trying to train one or the other, especially one of these little nuanced thingies. Could get tough.
It
you know
is.
What I mean?
And we could try some of that out, because I'm going to invite you to the range day. I have access to a private range, so I was going to invite everybody that's been on the podcast and a couple extra people if they're interested in coming and shooting. And I'm going to make a video. I'll bring the cannon out. We'll fire the cannon.
Okay, nice.
And I'm hoping the Tory's going to be there, because I really do want to. Stupid to say this, but I want to shoot myself with the cannon with BBs with a low powder load. But I think it'd be fun. And if she's there, she's a medic. So I mean, I'll just get her some tweezers. She can start picking them all out. I'll wear protection and stuff like that. I'm curious. I've got some. I've saved some bio BBs for that.
If we do a couple of test fires, I think we could get the distance right to where it's not. I think you're going to regret it either way.
Oh, I'm definitely going to regret it, for sure. But I've watched too much Jackass to have a cannon and not do something stupid with it. I haven't done anything stupid with it yet, so it's about time. It's about time. But so I'm curious, what else about you do you think that people don't know? Because I mean, you're pretty prominent in our community with Airsoft Pawn. We see you at every buy-sell trade day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a lot of the Milsim. I'm not big into that.
I get it.
You know what I mean? And it's just in my preferential the way I would prefer to, because I love Lucifer's Wolves, and I love those guys. I think they do a lot of good training, and then my boy Skyler in the Immortal Guardians is another Milsim team that I would fight for.
Yep.
But when it comes to that, I've just been feeling like a lot of the upper hierarchy, what I deem the airsoft royalty, the people that are the big names in most of the aspects of USA airsoft culture. A little bit of drama been going on the last couple of years.
I've been seeing that it seems to be a thing about airsoft, and I was talking to Tori about this because she's one of the few people that I could actually have a conversation with on the phone for a while. I think I don't know, she is a lady. I'm not going to throw that at her, but like we were talking about how because I had to remark that there's been like 4 or 5 toxic incidents online in just the past couple months that I'm just like, where did all this come from? I don't understand this. And she was saying, like, you have to remember what makes an airsofter. We're out here to have fun. A lot of us are kind of damaged people because we're nerds. A lot of people have been picked on for playing airsoft as well. And I know that you've been in the business a bit longer than me. Is this something that's cyclical, or is it just constant?
I don't know, man. It's of course, people for the most part, though, I think that even in most people's personal lives, that they don't allow people to be very themselves. I think that they think that we should all be very like-minded, and when people are not as equally like-minded with them, it allows us to, or it gives us cause to be more tribalistic,
right?
Sort of, you know, me versus you sort of thing, and I mean, I've always been one to always make friends with everybody. I don't mind everybody. My best friends are religious, and I'm an atheist.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I grew up in a Christian household, and I never really thought that or really believed in the Christian faith. I got out of the Christian faith when I was like 14, and then I was very spiritual for a while. I had some spiritual ideologies, but around my mid-20s, 2021, I began to understand what my beliefs were.
Okay.
And I'm a what you would call a agnostic atheist, meaning that on the preposition of a God, I don't know, but I don't believe.
Okay.
So there are people that they don't know, but they still believe.
Right.
And there are people that know and they believe.
Right.
Okay? And there are some people that know and not believe. They know that God does not exist, which I don't take that position either.
I know.
So
it's kind of hard to say that it doesn't exist.
And some of my most respected people in the scientific community, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, even confuse these two linguistics because the nomenclature of it, atheism its a root word is to not believe.
Right.
Agnostic means to not know. So a Gnostic person is somebody that knows. So a Gnostic theist is somebody who absolutely knows that God exists and they believe it.
Right.
Because it all falls within the something. You can't believe something that you don't know first.
Right.
So if I didn't know the proposition of XYZ, I can't believe in the proposition of XYZ. You see what I'm saying? So
I get it.
So belief is a subset of knowledge.
Yeah, I went to Catholic school, so we went over all of that stuff.
In more of apologetic sort of tone, though.
Yeah, somewhat. You know, I am Christian. I'm actually getting baptized next weekend.
Yeah.
And I went to Catholic school, and I lost my faith when I was in Catholic school. I actually didn't get it back until about a year or two ago. And that's a story for a whole other time. That's just a whole bunch of random coincidences, man. Just like, I don't know. I have to put pen to paper to really get that out there, but that's what I like about Airsoft, because I play with people like you that are atheists. I don't know if you know Aaron, but he's of the Nordic religion.
Yeah.
He believes in Odin and stuff like that. I played at Holy Cows with Jewish guys, like 2 refrigerator Jews. That dressed up like Nazis. Like it's insane how diverse our
my teammate, the people that had the Adrian, he helps me. You've seen him there at Airsoft Pond. You know, he's
he messaged me about some pawn shop to go to. They were selling some ridiculous gun that, of course, I wanted, but they wanted it was a real gun. And it was a real machine gun, so it was like $12,000. But it was like, oh,
yeah,
can't spend $12,000 right now. I need to be good.
Yeah, that's another thing I totally agree with, is that it brings people. We're not thinking about religion or politics or anything like that while we're out there on the airsoft field. And when people do bring it up, they tend to either get shut down quickly or just completely ignored.
Yeah,
because it's not typically something where somebody wants to engage in during these sorts of festivities.
It's not the internet, like we're there in real life.
It ain't. Soap book is like I like, because I mean Facebook's just basically soapbox. Everybody likes to get up on their soapbox. I
had that about one of my posts. Some people from a whole other state didn't like somebody's patch. It's like, I didn't even see that, but did you like the post though? I mean, I dressed up like Dr. Hunter S. Thompson.
I got accused of trying to steal a Facebook group by putting out this patch, which I mean, you knew at the time I was coming out with the Discord, Florida Airsoft, and like the whole thing. That's basically where it was at.
Yeah, it's the same design as the Texas one.
One little birdie told another person, and then they believed them and whatever, and then it ended up with me being called out, and they said I was trying to take over a Facebook group by putting this out and stuff like that, which it lends itself, man. It's like, I don't mind at all. I've got my opinions about, of course everybody does, about other people, right? But when it comes down to doing business and, being a part of the community, I don't see why these issues have to be brought up. If there's personal beef, keep it personal or keep it savvy. I mean, that's just me. A lot of the peeps know that as soon as that sort of stuff happens, I just disengage. Yeah. I don't need it. Whenever you've got, and a lot of the greats, Matt, Jeff A, they take that heat and they go, because don't hold on to that crap. If it's feedback, if you can really get some feedback out of it, keep it under the wings. But if it's just noise in the background, push that aside, do your thing. I don't care what your opinions are about Jeff A or Stryker or whatever we need them. Yeah, we absolutely do need, and companies like Stryker and Hefe and yours, Airsoft Pawn, you guys bring life into the community from a business perspective. Because otherwise we would be shopping on Amazon, and we can't even, some of the stuff you can't even get on Amazon. Well, the thing is that at any given field, you've got this. I mean, this is just from my experience. You've got that hour bubble around every field, and some fields their bubbles might interconnect, and that's the audience. The real core audience that any airsoft field's going to have is that hour bubble around them. Right. And so it'll all, and they have a control over it per se, and they're all trying to influence it, but we really need in every bubble more people coming fresh into the sport. We need that to grow. We need those attendances to grow and to constantly, because that's what we really need. And when people first start getting into the sport, and if there's no feeling of teams around, or the event companies aren't pushing and stuff like that, really doesn't give them incentive to come back next time. Exactly. Or keep on with the sport. They might not feel that the same way we feel it here in Florida. There's lots of other dark places. Wyoming doesn't have a single airsoft field. What? They don't play with airsoft in Wyoming. There's no dedicated. There might be some backyard plinkers, some groups that get together on the weekends and play on private land, but there's no dedicated airsoft field that I've done and I do a lot of research on this in Wyoming. That's amazing. Kind of dark. It's hard in Wyoming out there. It's cold.
Well, yeah, the winters must be hard. But I could see an indoor place doing really well out there.
Possibly, but it's that audience. If that audience really, it takes a lot. You know what I mean? If CIA, if there was no action of airsoft in Florida, CIA popping off wouldn't have done really well. Yeah. Take for instance Legion.
Yeah, do you know what happened? All I know is they opened. I said I was going to go there, and then like a month later, they said we had to shut down.
A couple of my friends, I might be able to get. I don't know exactly what happened, but I'll tell you what. My 2 cents is when you charge $50 for admission, right there you've shot yourself in the foot.
I did not know they were charging that much.
I was all about going to Legion. I was like, oh, we're going to fucking pack up. Let's go, go, go. Yeah. But then I heard that, and I was like, I'm not driving across from the state that I would have to go to just to pay the $50 admission. And I'm not joking. It was $50.
Plus BBs?
Typically you can bring your own in when you go, as long as those indoor fields typically say 0.5 or 0.8 or lower. Yeah. So they do have a weight restriction typically, but CIA allows me to bring in my .25s and shoot them off as long as they're .25. So as long as there's no problem there, but still.
That's crazy. $50.
That's more than I would pay just to go to, CIA with lunch and admissions, like 40. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then the gas and everything like that. So it really kills them off with that. I think that there was some leasing problems, I believe.
That seems to be a typical thing with a lot of these places. Like, GCA, they were trying to close on this building that they wanted for the indoor air conditioned field, and it didn't go through. But now they're going for their original building that they wanted.
Yeah.
So, fingers crossed, it's all going to work out the way they wanted to originally. But, I doubt they're going to be charging $50 a head, and that's air conditioned, heated. It's going to be it's going to be an airsoft mecca.
Yeah, but so that goes along with my lines is that I think that the guys at CIA, the reason why they succeeded so well is because they did their market research. They had to have. They had to have known that setting it right there was going to be a good spot. They had to know that there were speed softers in the area. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And and they had that and. Just getting that sense of bringing those people back, that's going to be the future going on with the sport.
I always felt bad for speed softers because I felt like they were always persona non grata. Like everywhere they go, like someone sees the die match, they're like, "Oh, well, this guy's going to overshoot me and he's going to cheat at the same time."
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, here's my opinion, my hot take on the whole speed softer Milsim thing. It's in the way we play. The reasons why we are having such disagreements is in the reasons in how we play and how we are typically engaging other people, Milsim people playing against Milsim people. It's when the vice versa happens is when you typically have conflict,
clashing of styles.
Exactly. And
I always liked it though. I loved going up against the speedy guys. After, you take out a Milsim guy and the speedy guy pops up like a snake.
I'm the one who switches teams in the middle of an unbalanced game. I love a challenge. I don't go to the field to sit there and noob stomp, and I want to stomp. I want to go out there and stomp as much as I can, but I'm not going to if it's at the expense of 15 people on my team versus 5 on yours or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean. Whenever dude, it's hard as a more Milsim, as you would put it. My play style is more Milsim-y than say Mother Running and Gunning Nature, and just down to the way they're operating and stuff like that. It's very difficult, I guess I would say, in some fashions. I mean, a good Milsim team can destroy, in my opinion. Milsim teams are better than speed softer teams. Yeah, put them up head to head.
I mean, it depends on the field that they're on, though. Like if you have Milsimmers on a speed soft field, they're not going to do.
In my opinion, I think the Milsim team would get the better. I would love to see that too, right? I get the most premier Milsim team and put them against a premier speed soft team, and in a couple of different varying. That would be nice to watch. But I think that's really where the conflict begins.
Yeah.
It ends with people feeling like the other side isn't playing by the specific rules of the game.
Right.
I mean, whether it be not calling their hits or
just
overshooting or blind firing or whatever it is. But I think it begins with the fact that we're playing in a different way, and whenever you are playing in one way, it's kind of different. You know what I mean? When you're so used to fighting that style,
right? And
then you fight a different style, and there's learning curves and stuff like that, because it's different to play against a speed softer in an open play than it is to play against a Milsimer.
It is, and that's one of the things I'm really hoping for with Outdoor Extreme Hudson, because they have, they're solid Milsim field, but they also have speed. That they have the hyperball area with the big tubes and stuff like that. That would probably be a great place to see a Milsim team versus a team like Obey from CIA.
Yeah,
one of those premier teams, or DTP. Bring them out there and just see, how that would work. But, I'm hoping Outdoor Extreme Hudson will be in that hour bubble you were talking about, where now we can have our Milsim guys from, Holy Cows and all the other places, as well as the speed softers from CIA.
Yeah, I think after you get to your more established, it all depends on the person too, I think, and the way they and their abilities to be able to get places right, where they're at.
Some people don't have driver's licenses.
Or have, or even have a vehicle that could take a drive for a few hours. You know what I mean? They're always scared. I mean, I'm always a little scared going out of, my comfort area of AAA, coverage, right?
Hey, but if you have car problems, you let me know. My neighbor Joe is a master mechanic. He'll get you going.
I know, but I need simple shit like brakes, and I got to replace one of the routers. And
we're doing that this weekend.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm replacing both my rear brakes, both my rear tires, changing the oil, and then doing a bunch of stuff to the truck.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a magician with that stuff. He replaced the engine in my driveway, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you need something done,
I might ask for some advice. What I tell people in Airsoft: learn how to take care of the things you have, the guns. Don't learn how to tech every gun. Just learn how to tech your gun. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm doing with my car. I mean, I'm not a car guy. I studied business and science. I know. I know. I'm super confident on doing the routers. I just did both of my wife's back brakes, so I'm I can do that.
Okay.
When it comes to, I think I need a control bushing or something like that in my front end. I got to take off because I had lent my car to a buddy for a couple of months, and I just got it back, and we're still getting it cleaned up and stuff like that. So,
jeez.
Yeah, he had a bad off. He went up and he bought a car, or his car shit out. He had a buddy. His buddy sold him a car. Ends up, he was like, "Oh, it's been sitting for a year or whatever." It had been sitting for like 7 years.
Oh my God.
It needed lines, it needed tires, it needed every goddamn
That's how that truck was. It sat there for 3 years in my driveway.
But he got him. He paid a dime for it too. He paid way too much for it. So he was in a tough spot with a car. You know what I mean? He just dropped a whole bunch of money on a car that he thought was gonna get him there, and it didn't. So I mean, I let him borrow my car for like 2.5 months. And he paid me like $100 every week.
Okay.
To use my car. Yeah.
That's not bad.
No. But yeah, I've been there, man. Like when your car shits out like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now
that's why I have a bike. That's why I actually bought my house where I bought my house. I can literally walk to two grocery stores, 2 gas stations, and 2 auto parts places.
That's legit.
Like I'm straight. I got my cart that I use for Airsoft. Like I could carry car parts in that. As long as my back and my body is all right, I can get food. I can get everything. I can even get booze. There's a liquor store up there.
Yeah, but even then, even in the hardest of spots, man, a cabbie or an Uber, they don't toss that much for
your neighbor. Like that's a great reason to know your neighbors.
Exactly.
Besides, just an impending apocalypse, like Taylor was talking about last time. But yeah, I mean, we've been going for quite a while now. Is there anything else you'd like to cover? Anything you want to plug besides Airsoft Pawn?
No, and just everybody would love to come out here in Florida that has anything Airsoft related. If you need an extra dime, go on our website and sell your stuff to us. We're happy to buy it for me and find a new home. So. That's basically all I've been doing lately. It's a full-time job, as you can imagine.
I can imagine that, and raising a terrible terrible toddler.
Yeah, it's amazing, but it's rewarding, and both are. When you're doing stuff that you really enjoy, it doesn't feel too much like work. So
I hear you. That's how all this is. Even the hours spending in the editing room, I'm gonna go over every word that we've done here, switch the camera angles and stuff like that. I still love it. I wouldn't change it for the world right now, except for being monetized.
And so that's what I'm pretty picky. I've gotten not an outstanding amount of offers to come on podcasts. There are a lot, as you can imagine, as you know, there are about. I mean, I think off the top of my head, like 5 different other Airsoft related podcasts.
See, I knew about Trifecta because they reached out to me. Mm-hmm. By the way, Trifecta, I'm happy to come on. I'd plug my stuff, but there's not a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, he's really cool. I like him.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched this.
I haven't yet. I need to. One of my plans moving forward is I'm going to make a day where it's just like a YouTube streaming day where I'll have Taylor come over and we'll have a computer and a TV up there. We're just going to watch stuff.
Oh, okay.
And comment on it. Just hang out, have drinks, smoke, do whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, he reminds me of Joe Rogan a lot. I like him. It's just the way his mannerisms are. And
I love Joe Rogan.
Yeah, me too. I'm a big fan of him. So
him and Bill Maher inspired this podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like the style here is Bill Maher's. Like, eventually, I want to have cameras kind of hidden here.
Yeah.
So we're literally just looking, and I'll have like a teddy bear over there.
More of the style they do on the traditional podcast. Yeah.
Or like we're not looking at the cameras too often, but every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you get more if you're going for a more national. That's why I think that they don't do it on like Rogan's podcast, is because when you're having two people that are facing each other, they know that there's an audience. Right? They do know, but having that wall between you and that audience where you're not actually having to like directly engage with them, it gives it a more feeling, a more lucid, candid feel to the talk.
And it's more like the way that we talk in real life and how we interact with on the airsoft field. I mean, that's why part of the reason why I have these chairs is our chairs, because this is what we use at airsoft. We don't have the leather high back chairs.
Or you end up ending up like a children's show where you got the person just, how are ya? And not getting any response and stuff. It's not typically how we begin our train of thought. And,
right.
Yeah,
I find it funny when you watch some of those, but
yeah, that's what my life is right now, is cooking recipes and baby show lyrics.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I'm into cooking too. We can swap some recipes, man.
I would appreciate that. I got a couple of good ones.
Okay.
I just cooked goulash.
Oh, really?
So good, bro.
There's a Polish place here called Cracovia. They've got the best goulash.
Oh yeah.
And they've got a beer that's it's like Zwayak or something. Mm-hmm. Those two together. Oh my god. Yeah. So perfect. Like when it's freezing outside, that was the first thing I did. I went and got a big thing of borscht, or not borscht, goulash. Yeah. I get those two mixed up. They're complete opposites, though.
Yeah, very different.
Borscht is horrible.
Oh man, yeah.
Cold soup, no thank you. No thank you.
Yeah, cold beet soup. Yeah, no. But we've been on this kick of trying to replicate fast food items. So like I did the Crunchwrap Supreme. Okay. Yeah, I did that. It was pretty good. I couldn't get the folding down right, but apparently if you microwave your tortillas, they're softer and you can fold them up better. I should have done that.
There's a thing that you can get. I'll show it to you before you leave. It looks like a ceramic bowl, but it's made out of plastic, and you put those in there with a damp paper towel. Mm-hmm. Do it for like 30 seconds, but you can't have the lid on it. Yeah.
My mother-in-law's got one of those. Yeah.
They're perfect. I mean, I use those for my tortillas.
But it's like my wife, she's like, because you're so simple, Tim, because you would have just rolled that bitch up and not cared that it torn a little bit, but... Yeah.
I wouldn't care either. I'm on a Japanese food kick.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. Yeah, I bought a wok recently, and I've just been using the hell out of it.
You can use that for everything. I love my frying pan just because, I mean, I'm more a simple cook, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cast iron is what I usually use. Mm-hmm. But a wok, I mean, I've learned how to make so many. There's a my favorite Japanese dish is called katsudon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's just fried pork cutlet over rice. You get the egg on it and everything. Oh, it's so good.
But yeah, one of my favorites too.
Yeah. If you need the recipe, I'll share it with you.
I would like that, and I might have a recipe for cheesy potato soup you might like.
That sounds awesome.
Bro, it's basically like stock is chicken broth. Yeah. And then it's like 2.5 blocks or like 2 blocks of Velveeta cheese.
Damn.
So that's where the cost is. But it's basically like potatoes, beef broth, cheese, and like some spices.
Oh man,
the way you render it. Oh man. Oh, and cream cheese. There's some cream cheese in there too. It's so good, bro.
Damn. Yeah. See, this is what I talked to Joe about of Grey Wolf. Mm-hmm. I think he told me, I'm sorry if I'm speaking out of turn, that he grew up Amish. So he knows how to cook everything, and he put the idea into my mind because I made chili, and I told him I made chili, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I just did that, and I took the leftovers and made chili mac with it and gave it to my kids, and they ate it all up."
Nice.
So I made my first chili mac after talking to him, and then I shared it with my neighbors, and like I was expecting to get leftovers back. I didn't even get the bowl back. You guys didn't give me my bowl back. They literally destroyed that thing in one night. It was like one of those containers like that. There's 3 of them. But I mean, they destroyed it. It was like,
Hell yeah.
I told Joe I was going to save him some. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Joe. My neighbors ate it. One of them's a growing boy, though. But yeah, man, it was fun talking to you, dude.
Yeah, it's been great.
It's been great getting to know you, and this is not a one and done. So if you have something popping up again, or you just feel like coming over and hanging out and talking,
Yeah, I got to put you on the schedule. It is a little bit of drive for me. And then as Emma gets a little bit more into her more chill state, because like right now, if I brought my daughter over, she'd be running around your house.
Right.
Anything that she could find to put in her mouth, she probably would have.
there's a lot of stuff. My house is not baby proof.
Yeah.
I found a gun the other day.
Oh, yeah?
That's fun.
Yeah. Well, if I brought my wife. So, yeah, the thing about Gator Paintball, I'm taking her to, I don't know if you know who Tom Segura is.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, we're going out to Tom's. He's playing at the Emily Arena on the 16th of next month. Yeah, and
yeah,
so,
he's fun. I used to watch him on World's Dumbest way back in the day.
Yeah, okay.
That's when he was a nobody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my wife loves Your Mama's House. Like, she loves that podcast.
I've seen a couple of them. I don't hate it for sure, but there's so many podcasts to listen to. I don't have time. Yeah. Plus, I know the audience can't see that, but I've got my bookshelf behind the camera, and it's literally overflowing.
It's a big bookshelf.
Yeah, but hey, man, it was great getting to know you.
Thanks for having me, bro. Appreciate you.
So this was Adventures in Adventures in Podcasting number 4 with Tim, aka Platform. Be sure to check out Airsoft Pawn. I'm going to leave a link in the description. And for every one of you that is posting on all the Facebook groups, where can I sell my gear? Airsoft Pawn.
Can't miss it.
Don't post it on Facebook. You will get that page banned or something like that. Contact him. He'll get you taken care of, okay? So until the next time.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see it on the next one. How about that? That's a good way to end it.
Yeah.
All right, man. It was great hanging out with you, dude.
Yeah, it was.
All right, now let's make sure we get a picture so I can do it for the socials.